Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Motivation Week. I'm trying out a new system here to be a little bit more focused about what I provide to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ideally choose one topic per week and really go narrow and deep. Give you as much content as I can, help you understand it as thoroughly as possible so that you can really make some big shifts in your life. And of course, this week we're starting with motivation. So I figured what I would do to help jump into this topic is to give you a sense of what motivation is, so we're all thinking about it the same way, as well as what some of the activators and saboteurs can be. So let's dive in. First of all, some of the questions that I hear people say, and also things that we are told by others, is that, well, you're just not motivated enough. You're not a motivated kind of person. You lack motivation. Or you get started, you start to lose your momentum and say, man, I lost my motivation. As though it's something that went away, it's something that you have to find or keep or whatever. And unfortunately, sometimes it's also thought of as a character trait. You're just not a motivated kind of person. You're lazy. That's a load of crap, and I don't want you to accept that from anybody. And I'll explain why as I go through this. But before we go any further, like I said, let's have a working definition of motivation so we're all on the same page. One definition that I found, which is pretty much in alignment with the way I think about it, is motivation refers to the factors that activate, direct, and sustain our goal-directed behavior. So it's not enough to just turn it on. It's going to be focused somewhere. You see people with ADHD, yours truly, case in point, where you have a lot of motivation, this drive to act, like you're being run by a motor, but it has no direction. These people are poking and fidgeting and doing all of this stuff and chasing random shiny objects because they don't know where to direct the energy. And even if they do know where to direct it, they have a difficult time sustaining it. Because while you're going towards whatever it is you decided you want, you get distracted, you get frustrated, you get discouraged, and that's when you start saying, oh, I lost my motivation. You start slowing down because of that distraction. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. So motivation essentially is a drive, an internal drive typically, to take action of some kind. And take that action in a focused way till you get what you want. Plain and simple. So let's get some real world examples of this. You're driving along, somebody steps off a curb, and you want to avoid hitting them. You have motivation to take specific action to avoid hitting this person. And you will keep turning away until you don't hit them or until they get out of the way. So that's like a split second, all-encompassing definition of motivation. Let's say a longer term one is you want to increase the amount of money you make every single month, whether it's to get a raise at work some overtime, increase your sales if you're an entrepreneur like myself, and that can take a longer time to make happen. So that's why having that goal-directed behavior is so important, because it's not going to be in an instant, even though we're encouraged to think much more immediate gratification these days. In many cases, the stuff most worth having isn't going to happen overnight. It's something we got to stick with. Let's say you want to win the attention of a certain someone. A lot of the clients I work with these days are young adults with Asperger's, ADHD, and they want to ask a girl out. Or the girl thinks this guy is really cute, doesn't know how to approach him. Well, the motivation's there. They're very attracted. They know what outcome they want. They want this person to notice them, to like them, to think of them as a romantic partner. And now we need to take action, a specific plan, and we need to stick with it. That's typically a dating strategy or an attraction strategy, if you want to call it that way. Or we need something simple, quick. You want to change the way you feel about something. A lot of us will go on YouTube, Facebook, go watch a movie because we don't like the way we're feeling right now and we want to feel different. We're feeling a little tired, we want to be energized. We're feeling a little sad and we want to laugh. We're feeling a little helpless, we want to be a hero. So we'll go to an action movie. And you can change like that. So the motivation to change your emotions, to change your life circumstances, that compelling drive to take action, focused action, and sustain it till you get the result you want. That is motivation in a nutshell. But there's more to it than that. If it were a simple formula like that, where you just check those little things off and you can make it happen, everybody be doing it. There are a lot of people that wouldn't be sitting around feeling helpless, feeling disempowered if it were that simple. So there needs to be a foundation underneath that motivation that begins with you believing that your action can make a difference. Period. Because if you don't think you doing anything will change a darn thing, you'll resign yourself to your life circumstances. You'll say, that's just the way it is. This is reality. You just have to suck it up. Same shit, different day, whatever lingo you use to tell yourself that no new action from you will make one lick of difference. I'm here to tell you that not only is that wrong 99% of the time, but you must have that belief that your action matters and can influence the outcomes of your life. Otherwise, there's no motivation to be had. You'll think being lazy is my only option. My action doesn't matter. And if you're in the special needs community, you know what that feels like. Because you bump up against so many walls and think, I'm ineffective no matter what I do. People are always correcting me. People are always telling me, stop it, put it down, knock it off, quit being so impulsive. Whatever feedback you get that tells you your action causes problems, not solutions, at some point you might just say, I'm here in this world to cause problems, not solve them. I'm better off sitting here shutting up and not making any waves. I'm not giving you that message. I'm here to inform you that the keys are that drive to act, change your circumstances, learn goal-directed behavior, learn how to stick with it, minimize distraction to get the outcome you want. But again, we got a whole week to talk about this stuff. I'm just laying the foundation right now. So what are those beliefs that you need to have on top of my actions can influence the outcomes of my life? You need to have very specific beliefs, and I'll tell them what you are. I will tell you what they are. You must believe that your present situation, whatever it is, it can be your entire life, it can be one part of it. You must believe that it is so unacceptable that the idea of sitting in it one moment longer is unacceptable to you, that you will not let it be the way it is, that you're going to take action to change it, okay? Next, you must believe that the situation is not only unacceptable, but it can actually change. It can be different. It can be better somehow. The next belief is that you can change it. It's not sitting around saying, well, it must change. This is unacceptable. Somebody better do something about this. No, you need to believe you can change it. And the next belief after that, this is where that drive to act really kicks in, is you believe you must change it. It's not, well, someday it'd be nice if this changed. Oh, wouldn't it be swell if this changed? No, it must. It's going to, it has to, it must. I'm not waiting another second in order to take some kind of action. And then, of course, you keep doing it until you get what you want. But what if you find that you're just not motivated enough? You think you must change it, but there's just not that drive like you think you ought to have. Or you've got that momentum like we talked about earlier, but you've lost your motivation. Those two things usually aren't really true. What usually is the case is when you think you aren't motivated enough, it's because you haven't truly decided that your circumstances are intolerable, that you cannot stand them a moment longer. It's typically not uncomfortable enough for you to move. So that's why you're not motivated enough. You got to think about it in terms that you basically tell yourself that you're so miserable this way that you are going to act, and there's no question about it. When you think you've lost your motivation, chances are you've lost touch with the belief that you can change it. You've maybe bumped up against a lot of resistance. You haven't quite gotten it as quickly as you wanted to. You're beginning to lose patience. You're becoming discouraged. Doubt is beginning to set in, and that's why you're starting to lose your motivation, this belief that I can act, I can create results, I can make things happen. And then you believe that you are getting feedback to the contrary. You've got a shitty feedback loop. I take action, I don't get what I want, I get frustrated and say, why did I bother? Why did I think I could do this? What's the point? You start doing the opposite of the beliefs that got you taking action in the first place. So what do? How do you get that mojo back once you've lost it? Well, I've written down a wonderful little recipe for you. And in the title of this video, you'll see a link to an article I wrote this morning that encapsulates everything I'm explaining to you right now. So you don't have to try and hold this all in your head, okay? So this is the motivation recipe to get your mojo back once you feel like you've lost it, okay? The first thing you need to ask yourself is, do you know clearly what you want? Is it so clear that it's like a photograph where you could describe it to a sketch artist or an artist and they could put it up so clearly that you could say to them, yes, that's what it is? Because it's very difficult to create something or find something when you can't even recognize it the moment it shows up. So be as clear as possible. The next question is, have you decided that your present situation is unacceptable? That it must change, and that what you want is the remedy to your present unacceptable situation? The next question is, do you believe that your present situation can change? See, we're reviewing those beliefs again. Because when you're frustrated and you're talking all that nonsense in your head, it's really easy to lose track of what you were after in the first place. So having these little cheat sheets like this can help you very quickly look and say, oh man, I totally missed that part. Or I remember starting with that part, but then I let this frustration or this negaholic with their bad attitude get me off track. And by reviewing this, it gets you back on track. Now, after reviewing the beliefs, do I believe I can change it? Do I believe that I must change it? The next question is, have you chosen your first action? Once you've determined that you are going to take action to change it, where do you start? What's the first thing you're going to do? And for many people with ADHD who have a difficult time taking that first action, it's called, refers to an executive function called task initiation, which basically means the first start. A hard time getting off the starter's block. So that would be when you would reach out to someone like me or someone else who manages their ADHD well, a teacher, a sibling, somebody who's really good at getting you started to help you get out of the gate. So taking your first action is what begins the momentum, begins your journey. The next step is, upon taking your first action, what results did you get? So you want to tap into that feedback loop. Are you telling yourself, man, why did I get my hopes up? Why did I bother? I'm such a klutz. Or are you telling yourself, that went other than expected. But what it tells me is that I need to adjust my approach a little bit so that I can create a slightly different result that will move me forward. Are you interpreting it in a way that's useful, that informs your next action? Or are you interpreting it in a way that's in favor of the crap that you've been fed your entire life, that you are hopeless, messed up, too scattered, and therefore can't succeed, and should just go back to your video game? Which dialogue are you going to indulge in? You also want to make sure that you have an accountability partner. Now, this may be an idea you're unfamiliar with, it may be one you're very familiar with. I have a lot of accountability partners because I have big ambitions, things that I want to create, and I can get discouraged, I can get distracted. So my accountability partners are the ones who know what I'm planning. They hold me accountable to create specific goals, deadlines, stuff I'm going to have done by certain dates and so on. And they'll check in and say, how you doing with this, Bri? Anything that you can show me? Hey, are you still working on this project? Because if someone else is riding me a little bit about it, it helps keep my momentum going. It also helps me get back on track when I get distracted. Now, these people are not babysitters, okay? They're not there to tell you what to do. And if you don't get something done, it's not their fault because they forgot to check in. An accountability partner is someone there to keep you accountable to things you have decided are important for yourself. They're the ones to believe in you, cheer you on, and when you fall down on the football field, to say, get up, keep going, the game isn't over yet. They're almost like a coach of sorts, or they're just a really good friend. But having that other person in your life to give you a swift kick in the butt every now and then, even when you're not losing motivation, is helpful. because having somebody else along the journey with you can also increase motivation. So that's pretty basic. That's an introduction to what we're going to be talking about this week. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm going to do one more thing for you because I know how hard it can be to find things on Facebook. So if you go to my resiliencewarriors.solutions website, that's my membership site, and I have established a free portion of it, and I'm going to put this video, this article, and I'm going to put it all in there, and this whole week of articles and videos are going to be in there sequentially so that you can just go back very quickly and use them as a point of reference when you want to review stuff, because it can be a real waste of time to have to run around trying to find where this article was and that video was. I want to save you the time because time is precious. So that's it for this video. Keep an eye on my thread. I'll be posting other things throughout the day. And if you have any questions about this, go ahead and pop them right there under the video. I'm here to help you move forward with this. Again, this has been Brian King. If there's anybody you know that could benefit from this, share and share often, because the more people we have in on this, the more motivation that's out there, the more the world can become a better place. So thank you so much for your time and attention. I honor you. It's a privilege being in your life. We'll talk again soon.